Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
Rotting meat, just death.
Exactly.
Smelly summer. A funk in East Vancouver has people wincing as complaints climb.
There's about 200 places in this facility where we collect that air and take it to odor treatment.
Plus,
life in Chinatown is not just senior housing.
almost 8 years after it was first proposed, a housing project in Vancouver's Chinatown is again up for debate.
We still say no to this development.
And
also giving space to the community I come from, to the people I belong to.
An Indian stand-up comedian hits the stage in Vancouver after selling out Madison Square Garden.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. People in much of East Vancouver have endured a bit of a smelly summer. An overwhelming stench has been linked back to numerous animal processing plants. And as Chad Pawson explains, complaints about foul odors doubled this year.
It's pretty bad. It smells, it is rotting stuff, so that's what it smells like.
Fish, rotten garbage, just rotting meat, just death.
Exactly.
It's something people in East Vancouver often raise a stink about, a funk that lingers in the area. Metro Vancouver says there are several potential odor sources nearby: a poultry processor, 2 seafood processors, and West Coast Reduction Limited, a major rendering plant, along with garbage bins and sewers. This summer, the number of complaints about the stink nearly doubled, 883 compared to 456 annually over the past 5 years. Metro Vancouver says West Coast Reduction is suspected to be the source for almost half of them this year alone. The sprawling site runs 24/7, the only plant of its kind in BC. 140 employees process food waste and animal byproducts from chicken, beef, pork, and fish.
The people that produce the meat that goes to a supermarket produce 2 products. Everything else from that animal has value. That comes to us. We render those and produce proteins that go into feed and pet food, and fats that go primarily into renewable fuel.
Nothing's left behind. Hundreds of thousands of pounds of feathers from slaughtered poultry arrive here every day.
We cook it under high pressure and high temperatures in the presence of water, and becomes an important protein source in various different feeds and some fertilizers.
And all of this can lead to a foul aroma. To combat it, the facility has some high-tech methods.
There's about 200 places in this facility where we collect that air and take it to odor treatment, which is primarily here where we essentially incinerate that at high temperature, and then we use that heat energy to generate the steam.
But it doesn't eliminate every stench, especially in the summer. Metro Vancouver admits tracing the source of each complaint is a challenge, but there are others trying to help, or at least give an outlet to complain. Since 2020, the Smell Vancouver app has allowed people to report various odors throughout the city. Users can rank how strong a smell is, write a description, and note any side effects they may be experiencing. Smell's lead researcher says more than 1,300 people used their app this year, a 70% increase from 2024. Most of those reports came from around the rendering plant and food processors.
Pretty much a perennial hotspot in our data, and that's something that we've seen in our past analysis as well, that's certainly an area where there are more reports because of that activity.
While Ingram says West Coast Reduction has received more complaints, the company responds to each one.
We have a weather station that we're standing under right here that is extremely accurate, that allows us to monitor all the weather parameters, including wind, and that's helpful when we get a complaint.
For those who have to endure the smells, they have their own ways of coping.
There was some days where it was terrible down here, like, oh my gosh.
I'm sad to say that I've gotten used to it, and that's terrible.
If somebody's visiting, they'll mention the smell, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's always there.
Coping with a situation that seems here to stay. Chad Pawson, CBC News, Vancouver.
A year out from municipal elections, Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim is proposing a budget that would see a freeze on property tax hikes. But as our Justin McElroy explains, that may not be as good as it seems.
The city of Vancouver. It has a mayor, it has a budget, and in the next 3 months, you'll be hearing a lot about both.
The mayor feels it's important that we zero in on the 0% option because we know that our economic challenges are going to be here for some time.
That is Councillor Sarah Kirby-Young explaining why Mayor Ken Sim is putting forward a motion for a budget that would see a freeze on property tax increases. But let's back up. Is 0% actually 0%? Why is this so important to Ken Sim? And are taxes in Vancouver currently high or low? Here's what we can say for sure. Yes, Sim's motion would freeze the local portion of property tax increases, even with a 1% increase for infrastructure renewal. But the province and Metro Vancouver also have their own share of property taxes, and there's no sign of them freezing their share of it. But why does that 0% figure matter to Ken Sim? Well, here's what he said when he was running for mayor.
Property taxes are up 25%.
In his campaign, Sim was very critical of the property tax increases under Kennedy Stewart, but so far, he hasn't been any different. Here is a chart. Those increases have actually been higher under Sim than they were for Stewart on average. This is his last chance to get the lower tax increases he thinks is important before next year's election. But are Vancouver's taxes high to begin with? Here are two other charts. The first one shows Vancouver compared to the region's other municipalities with more than 100,000 people. And right there, in raw dollars, is Vancouver at the top. There is a different view of this debate, though, because if you look at Vancouver's property taxes not in raw dollars, but as a percentage of people's home equity, a different story emerges. Here's a different chart. The assessed property tax rate in Vancouver is actually the lowest of any big city in Canada. Independent reports confirmed this year after year. Of course, a tax rate is different than a tax bill, and ABC councillors are clear where they stand.
We have some of the highest costs for housing in the country, whether you are a property owner or you are renting. And property taxes get passed on to both.
So this seems like it will go ahead, given Sim's majority on council. But a bigger question looms. How will the city make this work?
I want to be very clear. We are not going to be cutting any service levels.
That was 2022 Ken Sim. Whether 2025 Ken Sim can keep that promise while freezing taxes will go a long way to determine whether he can beat the political heat. Justin McElroy, CBC News, Vancouver.
A housing project, meanwhile, first proposed for Vancouver's Chinatown almost 8 years ago, is back up for debate, this time with new design changes. And as Pinky Wong explains, it's again attracting opposition.
Beady, beady, you can't hide, we can see your greedy eye.
Seniors and opponents of the revised 105 Kiefer development gathered outside the Chinese Cultural Center, where the project is now rebranded as 570 Columbia Street. Linda Chin used to live in Chinatown with her family. She says what the neighborhood needs is gathering spaces.
It's also gentrification. I mean, how many Chinese seniors are going to have been pushed out of their homes in order to accommodate the development?
The organizer of the rally has been advocating against the project since it was first proposed in 2017.
To show that the community are really still here, we are not going away, we still say no to this development.
She says affordable housing needs to be included for the low-income population that lives in Chinatown.
There's actually thousands of low-income seniors, a lot of people who actually can't speak English that depend on the community life here. As you know, we are also neighbor to the downtown east side where a lot of homeless folks are on the street.
The 9-story mixed-use project was conditionally approved in 2023 pending design changes. Developer BD says the updated designs will better reflect Chinatown's heritage. The project's architect says the community needs more than social housing to sustain local businesses.
There's a lot of stores that's closed. The reason for that is there's not enough people living in Chinatown. And all the stores, restaurants require patrons. So the life in Chinatown is not just senior housing.
The city is expected to decide on the revised proposal later this month. Just next to the proposed site is a new apartment hotel that will soon open its door.
The more residential opportunities there are in the area, I think that it will definitely support the businesses that are opening up.
Kiefer House managing partner says Chinatown is a historic area with a mix of locals and tourists.
We wanted to give something to the neighborhood. It's a neighborhood that has gone through a lot. And the art basically represents when people fall through the cracks and how together we can just lift each other up.
Pinky Wong, CBC News, Vancouver.
Provincial politicians are returning to Victoria on Monday for the fall sitting of the BC legislature. And 2 former BC Conservative MLAs will sit under the banner of a new party, One BC. But as Katie DeRosa explains, it got a cool reception from several venues after it tried to host a town hall in the Okanagan.
One BC leader, Dallas Brody, was supposed to have a town hall in Penticton on Thursday, but at least 4 venues refused to host the right of centre party. Brody, the MLA for Vancouver-Kilchena, founded One BC with Kelowna MLA Tara Armstrong after Brody was kicked out of the BC Conservatives. Leader John Rustad accused Brody of mocking residential school survivors during a podcast interview. She's promoting a documentary called Making a Killing, which questions the number of child burials at residential schools, pointing to a lack of evidence. That's led to allegations of residential school denial from prominent First Nations leaders. As for this town hall, One BC tried to book the Penticton Convention Centre, but staff turned down the request, citing their, quote, strong commitment to inclusivity and reconciliation with Indigenous communities. Then an art gallery backed out after it was targeted with a protest campaign. A hotel and winery were the next to confirm and then cancel. Loki Croft is an LGBTQ+ activist who has been encouraging businesses not to host the One BC event.
So when I'm hearing that a legitimate political party is also spreading that same sort of hate for minority communities, it's not an inclusive place.
Brody says her party should not be blacklisted because of its political views.
I mean, that's a big concern. I would never stop an event that David Eby wanted to hold.
Meanwhile, John Rustad is being accused of silencing voices within the BC Conservatives after he fired a caucus staffer who called the orange flag, which honors residential school survivors, a disgrace and a fake flag. Both Rustad and Brody say they're champions of free speech. They'll be able to demonstrate that in the legislature on Monday. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.
Students at UBC's Point Grey campus are calling on the federal and provincial governments to extend SkyTrain all the way to the university. Tanushi Bhatnagar has more from students and local leaders.
UBC to City Hall, build the train, connect us all.
More than 15,000 students have signed a petition demanding the provincial and federal governments build a new SkyTrain connection all the way to their campus. Now to get to class, students take the bus or use a personal vehicle. One takes too much time, the other too much money.
If you live in Surrey, in Coquitlam, in New Westminster, taking transit is an hour to 2 hours long. And that is really a barrier to access. That's a barrier to education.
Construction for Vancouver's Broadway project is underway. It will add new stations that extend the SkyTrain west towards UBC. That was approved more than a decade ago. But the last stop on that line will still be a 30-minute bus ride away from the university. Advocates say a longer SkyTrain network will do more than just connect students.
This is the infrastructure project that we've been dreaming of, because not only does it create jobs and it boosts the economy, but it also decongests Vancouver, right? All of these cars that are driving through Vancouver to UBC, we can get rid of them with a SkyTrain.
2 newly elected Vancouver councillors are hoping to take a motion to City Hall next week.
I'm expecting a unanimous vote. I've also been in Victoria for UBCM, the conference last week, and I had discussions. We've been lobbying ministers and the Premier directly.
And you know who else is on board? The Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh. On our first day as city councillors, we said yes to the Jericho Lands official development plan, which includes a stop on the SkyTrains.
However, further extending SkyTrain to UBC is a provincial business decision. The Ministry of Transportation told CBC planning is underway, and it continues to work with all levels of government, UBC, First Nations, and TransLink. Tanushi Bhatnagar, CBC News, Vancouver.
Darius Madavi's here for a first check on the weather and a check on the rain.
That's right. That low-pressure system that's been pushing showers over BC has now dissipated, or is in the process of dissipating. And that means, although we do have some more showers heading over BC, over the southwest BC, that'll continue to taper off over the next day or two. Expect maybe some showers into the overnight period, and then just some heavy cloud tomorrow over Vancouver and places like Victoria. The fire danger remains high in the interior, where we haven't really gotten very much rain, and there isn't really much in sight. But here on the coast, dramatic drops, and I would imagine that the drought update will look similar. And in terms of the temperatures, Dan, we're sticking across the south coast pretty much right between 15 and 17 degrees.
Okay, thanks, Darius.
Thank you.
From selling out Madison Square Garden to coming to Vancouver, Indian comedian Zakir Khan is in town, and he dropped by the CBC. More from him next. Former Vancouver Canuck Willie Mitchell has been named in a civil lawsuit alleging he sexually assaulted a 26-year-old woman at his Tofino home in September 2022. The suit claims Mitchell engaged in unwanted and unprotected sex with a plaintiff known as SDK, who was then a server working at Tofino Resort. Court documents say Mitchell was the acting general manager at the time. On the night of the alleged incident, the suit claims SDK became visibly impaired by alcohol. Mitchell reportedly took her to his home, and while she was in an altered level of consciousness, he engaged in sexual activity without her consent. SDK is seeking damages for injuries suffered, including loss of past and future earning capacity. None of the allegations have been tested in court, and the respondents have not yet filed statements of defense. A homeless count conducted by BC Housing in 20 communities found more than half saw an increase since the last count in 2023. 12 out of 20 BC communities saw a rise in homelessness, with Cranbrook, Fort St. John, and Sechelt Gibson seeing the largest rises. The remaining 8 communities saw a drop. The count provides a snapshot in time of a homeless population during a 24-hour period. It's still not clear if the Supreme Court of Canada will hear a case that will decide the fate of hundreds of ostriches in Edgewood, BC. New York billionaire John Katsimatidis is a supporter of Universal Ostrich Farms. He held a news conference pleading for the birds to be spared.
There used to be an old expression in the United States: something is rotten in Denmark. It was just an expression. Well, something is rotten somewhere in Ottawa. With the CFIA.
He is renewing calls for the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to test the birds for avian flu or send them to the U.S., something American federal health official Dr. Mehmet Oz has previously suggested. The CFIA has custody of the ostriches. The agency has until Friday to file a response with the court. Indian comedian Zakir Khan made history after becoming the first comedian to headline a show in Hindi at Madison Square Garden in New York. Now ahead of the final 2 shows of his tour, across the street here at Queen Elizabeth Theatre, Khan sat down for a conversation with our Stephen Quinn. Have a listen.
All of these moments are not just about me, but they are also culturally very significant.
Yeah.
Is also giving space to the community I come from, to the people I belong to. You know, there's a sense of belonging. That's why I ask everybody to come dress up in their cultural attire. Because the visual of 20,000 people getting out of that place and, you know, making space for themselves and for the community is what I live for. And that's why these things are so iconic to me personally and for everybody who is part of that.
And what does that feel like to you to be doing an arena show like that, looking out at all of that? I mean, we see the graphic here that we have with you on stage, but what does it feel like to you knowing that you brought all those people together?
Yeah, it's very overwhelming every time. It's when you think of it, you don't imagine something like this happening to you, right? And when it is happening, it is at the same time very surreal, but also there's a show to be done.
Yeah.
The experience has to be top-notch. What they have come for has to be fulfilled. It has to be above par, their expectation, especially when you're a popular artist. There's a continuous thread it's a common sentiment that it's not that great, he was good earlier. Right? That's everybody who's popular lives with this. That he's not good enough now, he used to be good before.
He used to be better. Your first record was way better.
Yes, right. So every time they're listening you again, you have to beat that mindset, this preconceived notion with them that no, you are the greatest of all time, you're still doing it, and you're far better than what you actually know me. So that also has to happen while you are very overwhelmed in this crowd. And yeah, it's
but that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
Yeah, but then there's a lot of credit. It's also very sexy to do art. Yeah, that's what I get paid for, to deal with it.
The day that was earlier in the day, high up on Mount Revelstoke in southeastern BC. Beautiful, and it's going to get drier. Darius has your BC-wide weather forecast coming up. Stay with us. Canada's Justice Minister says laws are about to change as the government aims to crack down on child luring, sextortion, and deepfakes. The consequences are too often deadly, and more boys in particular are being targeted by a fast-growing scam. Asha Tomlinson brings us the stories of families left devastated, and a warning this story is disturbing and talks frankly about suicide.
Happy birthday, dear Harry.
Carl Burke and Barbie Lavers look back on happier times.
Happy birthday to you and many more.
Their 17-year-old son, Harry, died by suicide in April 2023 after he was sextorted.
Those are his military boots that he was using when he was in the reserves.
Hi, Harry Burke.
He was a budding cadet with high hopes for his future.
He said, I want to make Canada better. And this was the way he figured that he could do that.
Carl recalls the day his world changed.
Harry had come to me sometime in the afternoon to say he was talking to this girl around his age from Nova Scotia. And he showed me her picture, and it all seemed very real.
It wasn't. Harry was corresponding with a scammer who lured him into sending a nude photo.
That evening, Harry came to me, and he said, Dad, I screwed up. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, I shared pictures. And he said, they're looking for money. And I said, we can't send the money, Harry. I knew what extortion meant. Yeah. I said, they'll just keep asking for more.
The hounding didn't stop. His photo sent to other cadets.
He was sitting in the garage, and I said, what are you doing? And he said, oh, I'm just writing some thoughts. He was writing his note.
He was kind of the glue that held us all together.
Ryan Cleland lost his son to sextortion too.
Spin around.
Carson was 12 years old, described as a caring kid who would stop to help out anyone.
I had spoken with Carson about sextortion online and what to do if it happens. He just couldn't think past his fear.
In October 2023, he started chatting with what he thought was a girl online. It would end up costing him his life.
I only just found out that Carson actually went to the store that day and bought a gift card and sent it to them.
So he did pay the scammer.
$25. He's just a boy. And that's an adult problem. That's why they pick on the kids.
Sextortion is on the rise, with Canada's child exploitation tip line CyberTip telling us it receives 50 to 80 reports a week. While girls are targeted too, 85% of victims are boys. In Canada, that includes Harry Burke and Carson Cleland, Daniel Lintz from Manitoba, William Doiron from New Brunswick, and a 14-year-old boy from Surrey, BC.
There's no other scam that I think even compares to this. We know a lot of the financial sextortion scams right now are coming from West Africa, specifically Nigeria.
Run by a network called the Yahoo Boys. We find a member willing to talk. We're not revealing who he is because he fears for his safety. He's in Lagos, a hotbed for cybercrime.
It's very hard to find a job, so I just need something doing to survive.
So you don't ever wonder if the person on the other end is suffering because of the scamming that you've done?
Yeah, let me just, I don't know what to answer to that.
Police internationally, including the RCMP, are trying to crack down on sextortion. 2 Nigerian men were recently convicted in the U.S., and a man was sentenced in Lagos for sextorting the 14-year-old boy in Surrey. But is it enough? Families of the victims want the government to step up. We put that to Justice Minister Sean Fraser, who tells us new laws are on the way.
What people should expect to see in short order is new criminal legislation that's going to address child luring, that's going to address non-consensual sharing of intimate images, of deepfakes, that's going to specifically address online sexploitation and extortion of kids, in addition to new tools that we want to give to law enforcement to prevent this crime.
But for Carl, Barbie, and so many others facing the harsh reality of sextortion, change can't come soon enough. Asha Tomlinson, CBC News, Bay Fortune, PEI.
And then he started looking. I said, well, why don't we see if we...
And an update on that story. The parents of the Prince George boy who died by suicide have now filed a notice of civil claim against Snapchat's parent company, Snap Inc., alleging the social media platform allowed their son to be lured by inappropriate and sexually exploitive users. The notice that claims Snap Inc. inappropriately marketed its product to minors and that by claiming messages are temporary, lures users into a false sense of security when sending private messages. The claim was filed October 1st, and Snap Inc. has 35 days to respond. Now, this coverage can be upsetting for some people. If you need help or know someone who does, you can reach the BC Crisis Centre 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call 1-800-784-2433 or 1-800-SUICIDE. They offer help in more than 140 languages. Two people have been killed and 4 others seriously injured after an attack outside a synagogue in Manchester, England. Officers shot and killed the suspect, and as Briar Stewart reports, police are treating it as a terrorist incident.
The moments after the holiest day of the year for the Jewish community was violently shattered.
Get back!
This video was taken after a vehicle rammed into pedestrians. And an attacker got out brandishing a knife. Those looking on were horrified.
Someone in the crowd shouted, "He's got something on him." And as I turned round, he was literally stabbing at the synagogue window.
Police say at the time they believe the attacker could be wearing a bomb. He was shot dead and later identified as a British citizen of Syrian descent.
Counter-terrorism policing has declared this as a terrorist incident.
2 people were killed and 4 others were taken to hospital. It's believed one of those stabbed was a security guard.
I lived here for like 7 years. I've seen nothing but kindness and love from the Jewish community here.
Security has been stepped up at synagogues and Jewish schools, and in some areas there is a visible police presence. This attack comes as the Jewish community was already dealing with a sharp rise in anti-Semitic incidents. The disturbing trend began nearly 2 years ago in the wake of the Hamas-led attack on Israel on October 7th and Israel's ensuing war in Gaza.
There was a feeling of inevitability about it.
Alex Hearn says synagogues already have heightened security. He was part of a volunteer patrol at another one on Wednesday. He wants the government to take a harder line against anti-Semitic attacks.
We can have all the security guards in the world, and that can't protect us from this climate of hate that's growing.
The UK's Prime Minister called an emergency meeting and is trying to reassure the Jewish community.
I will do everything in my power to guarantee you the security that you deserve.
The police are continuing their investigation. They searched houses near the synagogue and said they've arrested 3 individuals on suspicion of helping to prepare and instigate a terrorist attack. Briar Stewart, CBC News, London.
2 years of war in Gaza has largely taken the spotlight off the other front in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the West Bank. But confrontation there has continued, leaving Palestinians alarmed for their future. The CBC's Paul Hunter has that story.
On a hillside along the Jordan Valley in the occupied West Bank, Ibrahim Salameh surveys the rubble which, until 2 weeks ago, was his house. He lived here until the day Israeli forces pulled up with heavy equipment and flattened it, saying he had no permit. My life is over, he told us. I'm unable to feed my children. I was unable to protect my home. There's nothing I can do. Salameh, a farm worker, is far from alone in his worries. The broad fear in this region, as the world's attention is focused on the Gaza Strip, is that Israel is slowly, surely moving toward taking much of this, toward annexing the fertile lands farmed by Palestinians for so long. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pledged as much back in 2019 with a campaign promise to take the Jordan Valley, a notion Israeli politicians had talked about for decades, though facing international condemnation for that, Netanyahu has not followed through. But meanwhile, Israeli forces regularly demolish Palestinian structures here, often, it says, to enforce building regulations. Azim Haj Mohammed, mayor of the village of Farouche Bayat Dajan, with his own pile of rubble, what was meant to be a civic building, knocked down earlier this year, he says, by Israeli forces, again citing permit issues. We say that we're on our land, he says. We're in our homes. We will keep this land and we will not leave it. Echoed at this fruit farm a few kilometers away, where owner Mohammed Sadeh, who supplies dates for clients in Canada and worldwide, told us Israeli forces raided the place this week, leaving it intact, but his workers rattled. We want to live in peace, he says. We don't want to start a war. We want our children to live, to have rights like anyone else around the world. All of it's left Palestinians here with a simple message to Israel.
What do you say to Benjamin Netanyahu?
What have we done, he says. Why is this happening? Paul Hunter, CBC News, in the Jordan Valley in the occupied West Bank.
Like clockwork, the debate on daylight time is back. Coming up, a Liberal MP says it's time to do away with it. That's next. You could call it a debate around the clock, whether to abolish the rotation between standard time and daylight saving time. As Nicole Williams reports, a Liberal MP is now presenting a private member's bill to get rid of it.
I'm here to say the time has come to address time change.
Member of Parliament Marie-France Lalonde on Parliament Hill this afternoon, bringing up the age-old question: why do we still need to change our clocks in Canada?
There's more road accidents, including pedestrians getting hit by cars, happen when the time changes.
It's why she's putting forward a private member's bill that would see the formation of a pan-Canadian conference on seasonal time change in the hopes of putting an end to it once and for all.
This is a complex question touching on multiple aspects of biology as well as geographical and environmental factors.
Lalonde says it's a long shot, but it is doable. There are several regions in Canada that have already ditched the switch, including Saskatchewan, parts of BC, Nunavut, and the Yukon, which left behind seasonal time changes in 2020.
The idea was, like, can we move the daylight so that there's a little bit left somewhere for people to grab onto.
But there's a lot to consider, and not everyone is so sure it would make their lives better.
In the fall, we definitely wouldn't want to be waking up in the dark. I really need the light, want the light when I get up, and I know the kids, it would be difficult for them as well.
Then there's people like Mike Vahabi, who proposes what he calls super daylight savings, a second spring forward in August.
I think that would do a lot for businesses who rely on people being out in the evenings. I think it would make it safer for kids to play sports and to continue being outside in the summertime.
Okay, that's even less likely to happen, but experts say regardless, these are options still worth exploring for the benefit of everyone. The private member's bill is scheduled to be tabled next week. Nicole Williams, CBC News, Ottawa.
A second spring forward? Darius Madavi, what do you think?
I've never heard of it before. I will not offer an opinion, only to say that I can't imagine people will be a fan of the idea.
Well, yeah, ask any parent with a young child, and they just love that time change. Yikes.
I am a little bit excited for fallback.
Are you? Okay.
The extra hour of sleep on a Sunday.
Yeah, when you're not
ready
working.
for it.
What are we looking for? Are the parents going to like the forecast?
Great segue.
Not bad, eh?
Yes, we've got some more. We got a little bit more showery activity on the way for parts of the island. But as we head into the rest of the week, the rest of the weekend, we're going to see plenty of sunshine. That moisture really starting to shift south or north of the south coast. Some rain is coming to the north and central coast, but for the most part, again, it misses us. Parts of it, some of it breaks into the southern interior. A few scattered showers will likely make it into the southern interior, but for the most part, we're looking pretty dry across the southern half of the province. One wave of showers may be passing through parts of the island, parts of the southern interior, but that's pretty much it. No real risk of a thunderstorm tomorrow so far, but we have seen some thunderstorm risk tonight. The temperatures are not changing too much from where we saw today. In the southern interior, they may come down a couple degrees as we head into the next few days. So you can see places like Kamloops, 20 today, fall to 18 tomorrow. Again, not major drops, nothing like the temperature swings that we were seeing a couple weeks ago, but, you know, something to keep in mind. The 20s, we probably won't have them for too much longer. So if you're enjoying the 20-degree weather, I would enjoy it while we have it. In terms of the fire danger, that remains high, moderate in the southern interior, and it remains moderate with pockets of high in the far northern sections of the province. The Peace has seen some improvement, but not everywhere. Dawson Creek still on the borderline edge of moderate. So for the most part, unless we start to see temperatures really start to shoot up, which is not what we're expecting, we should be sitting in a pretty good place in terms of the fire danger situation. We just got to hope that the rain keeps coming, and that will hopefully suppress any other new fires. We are into October now, but the way things have been, I'm not ruling it out entirely. And the smoke has improved significantly across the province. Nowhere really that we're worried about air quality into tomorrow. On the coast, we're going to see some cloud in the morning, and then things clear up for the afternoon. And that's what we're talking about here in Vancouver as well.
Okay. Thanks very much, Darius.
Thank you.
Follow us back now into the mists of time in the 1980s. It was a transformative decade for pop culture, to say the least. MTV and hip-hop had emerged, and Coke was still king, at least until relative newcomer Pepsi started stealing the show in the spotlight. In 1985, the Cola Wars were in full swing, and in its battle to stay on top, the already 99-year-old Coca-Cola company launched the new Coke. To say it went badly would be an understatement.
The new taste of Coke has been on the shelves for 2 months now. But after 99 years of the old Coke, some say the new stuff just doesn't pass the test.
Well, it's good. With one exception. It doesn't mix good with rum. They've lost the magic touch, haven't they?
I don't like it as well as the old Coke.
I guess I would prefer the old one.
Well, a lot of people say they won't drink it no matter what, unless they change it back. But a lot of people that swore they would never drink Pepsi have switched. And they won't drink Coke anymore.
In fact, any old Coke that's around is in great demand these days.
Usually they buy more than what they usually want because they don't know how long it's going to be here.
Still, there are some die-hard Coke drinkers who will never give it up, even if they don't like the new Coke as well.
I have to drink it because I feel obligated to Coke. I've been drinking it for so long, and they changed their taste. Doesn't matter to me.
Others like the new Coke better.
Well, actually, with the old Coke, I used to suffer from indigestion, and this is a lot easier on the stomach. It goes down nice.
Coke is trying extra hard to sell people on the new taste, with sample booths like this one in grocery stores. Sometimes it works.
It's fine.
It's very different than the other Coke, but it's good. Tastes a lot like Pepsi.
But it's hard to convert those who prefer the competition.
It's not enough fizz to it. So Pepsi beats it all the way, I think.
One store here in Fredericton says Coke usually outsells Pepsi 2-1. But since the new taste came along, Coke sales have been dropping. New Brunswickers have a reputation for traditional tastes. It seems their taste buds are pretty traditional too. Wileen Lafoy, CBC News, Fredericton.
So the new Coke campaign is now widely recognized as a famous example of a marketing disaster. But how did it all go wrong? Well, there's one person who knows a lot about this and shares it with students. Jan Corneel is an associate professor of marketing and behavioral science at UBC, and he uses the new Coke as an example to teach his students. We appreciate you coming in. What really went wrong with new Coke and this rollout, do you think?
Well, it's a perfect example of bad marketing. So we're back in 1985. Coca-Cola is still super dominant on the market for carbonated soft drink, but Pepsi is starting to gain some market shares, which is absolutely unacceptable in Atlanta. And they have very aggressive marketing at the time, and they're very good at recruiting younger consumers. And one of the things that they do is to advertise blind taste tests in which supposedly consumers would prefer the taste of Pepsi. And Coca-Cola thinks that the problem of their loss in market share is because of the taste, and that's why they introduced new Coke. And it was, of course, the disaster that we know, because the key mistake here is that the problem was not the taste. The problem was that the marketing of Pepsi was better. They had imagined that Michael Jackson as a celebrity endorser back in the days.
So now that we see it as a marketing lesson, what do people, when you teach students, say, here's what not to do and here's what to do when it comes to how new Coke was handled?
Well, the first lesson is to be very, very careful with blind taste tests. The thing is that we don't only taste with our taste buds and the physical properties of the product. We also taste with all our cultural luggage, everything that we know and love about brands through decades, and in the case of Coca-Cola, a century of marketing that shapes our liking and our sensory perception. And the second lesson is that if you notice a change in the market, a change in taste, like today, a preference for a zero-calorie version or more natural version, don't retire your old product, which is, at the time, Coca-Cola was and still is today, part of the fabric of America. Introduce new products under the same brand. That's what we call a brand extension.
And when it comes to, we see other products doing that. Is that how Coke is and other companies are staying relevant today, by just adding more variety, particularly in an industry that has seen such huge change over the years?
Exactly. That's what Coca-Cola does, so they can introduce new products under the Coke umbrella. We've seen lately Coke Zero. There was also a failure, Coke Life, trying to surf on the more natural trend. And if it doesn't work, if they can also add new brands to their portfolio. So Coca-Cola is a huge company. They don't only have Coke among their brands. They also have alternatives that are a better fit to today's market, more natural alternatives like Fresca, and also functional drinks like Body Armor of high vitamin and electrolyte infused drinks, for instance.
Interesting. Jan Corneille, we really appreciate your time and your perspective. Thanks for going with us down memory lane, if you will.
Thank you for having me.
An East Vancouver family was pleasantly surprised when a Grammy-winning artist came rapping at their door. We'll tell you why he knocked next.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC inbox. On October 18th, join CBC at the Big Sisters Soiree Gala, an evening for the community to come together, celebrating mentorship and resilience of youth. And never miss a special programming series, event, or contest. Subscribe to CBC's e-newsletter today at cbc.ca/Vancouver Inbox.
The BC Fruit Growers Association has dubbed this year's cherry crop the best in provincial history.
So in 2024, we had the worst cherry crop we've ever seen, and in 2025, we had the best cherry crop we've ever seen.
The past few years have been very rough amid the 2021 heat dome, cold snaps, and wildfires. Carlson adds farmers still face challenges at the grocery store as American growers are able to set lower prices.
Now, it's one thing to have a Grammy Award-winning artist host a free pop-up concert on your doorstep. Quite another to have that artist drop by your home.
One East Vancouver family got a very unique memory of R&B singer Daniel Caesar's show.
Vancouver, John Hendry Park, 5 o'clock.
I was not aware of the pop-up concert until we saw the rush of people at the park. Our kids were playing in the backyard. We were all in the backyard, and this very polite, lovely man came to our gate and asked very nicely if his friend could use the bathroom. His tour van was parked just in our back lane. After he asked if his friend could use the bathroom, he said yes, and the friend turned out to be Daniel Caesar. So we let him in, and he came in with his videographer, and he introduced himself very nicely and said his name was Daniel. And then I said, feel free to use our bathroom, and I was like, would you like a glass of water? And he accepted. He was super engaging with our kids. He asked what their ages were. I told my kids, just so we're clear, that is not something that will happen ever again. We're not going to have a famous person in our backyard again, so take that for what it is and take it all in. And then he sat here for 10 or 15 minutes and talked to us and the kids about his tour and music and his family, and he was down to earth, super genuine, really just lovely and gracious and kind. He asked them tons of questions, so yeah, it was a really great afternoon.
Good on Melanie and family. That's a good neighborly thing to do.
Yeah, what an experience. Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, YouTube, and our website.
And we'll have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. See you then.